Welcome to Beyond County Lines.
Today we're celebrating Women's History Month.
Beyond County Lines, your community's flow. Santa Fe County updates everybody wants to know.
I am Andrea Tapia, Bureau of Elections Administration Supervisor.
Catherine Clark, the Santa Fe County Clerk.
I want to express my gratitude towards Olivia. We had a crazy busy week last week.
Yes, we did.
I have this new wireless system, which was a lot of fun, but it's a whole lot of work traveling with all of this. As you guys may have seen this morning when we recorded the permanent ballot, what's it called? Permanent absentee ballot commercial. But we had press conference, and then we had the PNM.
We had an EOC at Public Safety on Thursday in preparation for the PNM outage. And so it was all hands on deck yesterday or Thursday.
Yeah,
it feels like
Wednesday
yesterday.
and Thursday and Friday. But I want to give huge kudos to Olivia because you should have seen her at the PIO table. That's not really my realm. I was there trying to look like I was part of the cool kids, but she really was giving direction and making sure everybody was on the same table, and it felt great to see. And so kudos to
Well,
Olivia.
thank you, pal. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a really good trial run because if there is an emergency and we need to communicate immediately, I think we learned some do's and don'ts. We also got to collaborate with all the other departments, our public safety officials. So I think after that experience, I think we're that much more prepared. And of course, working with Daniel's wonderful. He brings all his equipment. It's like the rolling road show. He was ready for a press conference there that Thursday if we needed it. And then, of course, we lost a dear individual in our community, Gene Hackman and his wife. And so Daniel was the Wizard of Oz. So thank you, Daniel, for everything you do. Yes, he's the guy behind the curtain. So makes it happen.
Clearly, we enjoy each other's company. We're a great team, right?
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, let's go into the topic at hand. It is March. March is National Women's Month. And here at Santa Fe County, we want to recognize all the powerful women that work at the county from leadership roles all the way to the front lines. And want to thank you all for your dedication. I am in a room with 6 women right now. I just realized. 5.
Bendito entre todas las mujeres. Yeah, I just want to thank all of the powerful matriarchs in our community here at Santa Fe County, from nurturing our elders, from providing youth programming. We have incredible, fierce women who are unwavering, from public safety firefighters to our sheriff's office, all over the county. We honor you. We are glad to serve with you. And thank you for being the fabric that connects all of our community. And I think that's mutual to our county clerk's office, who has from their deputy to their clerk to their elections bureau chief, incredible women who are empowering the voice and your right to vote.
Absolutely. And I can feel you trying to look at the camera, Olivia.
Trying not to.
But you caught yourself.
I'm like trying to connect with Andrea, like just connect with me.
Yeah, I got you, girl.
I also want to honor the woman that means the most in my life, my mom. She is amazing. And I just hit the table. I told you. Okay. Do you have the list of the questions we were going to ask?
What role have women played in shaping election administration and public record keeping in New Mexico?
What we have seen is that all over the country, 80% of election officials are women, and that is true in New Mexico. I mean, women are the ones who are running elections. They are a disproportionate size of our poll workers. They tend to be retired school teachers and librarians. A lot of the clerks traditionally are women, so county clerks are traditionally women. They're also our records clerk in several departments. There tend to be our librarians. So women are keeping the information, keeping your history, making sure it's carried forward, and also making sure that your vote counts. I mean, election administration is really women carrying democracy forward.
I love that.
Right now, we have 5 out of our 6 leadership roles in the clerk's office filled by women. So I'd like to give that special shout out too, because it's just a good highlight of the strength in our office, just led by women.
Absolutely. That's very special. Well, thank you for that history bit. And also, I think right now, since our previous election, and maybe you can correct me, Catherine, but I think a majority of our legislators And Congress, like 2 out of our congressional representatives are also female, right?
Right. So 2 out of the 3 Congress persons are women. And at the state legislature, I believe 4 out of the 5 Democrats that were elected in the state house were women. We have the overwhelming majority in the House, and we have more female senators than we've ever had in the state Senate. So, women are stepping up to run for office. They're on school. They're not just, they're not starting just at the legislature. When you're getting interested in politics, right, you tend to run for smaller things first. So you run for local. So we see more women running for city councils, school boards, things like that. Conservation districts, actually. Traditionally, men would run for soil and water district, conservation districts, and we're seeing more women run for those too because
women participation
care about the land. And, so it's a very exciting time to be in politics in New Mexico. Yes.
I have a question, but it kind of pertains to everybody in the room. What advice would you have for young women looking to get a career in public service?
I would say my advice would be to use your womanly strength to know that you sometimes have to find that barrier of caregiver in our personal lives, but also that professional aspect and component of being able to balance both and finding that moment to thrive and show that we can do both and just really believe in yourself. So I think that would be my advice to women and to women in general for elections, especially. I think it's a calling. It's not something that we necessarily sign up for. I could speak for myself. But I think that it's just finding your inner strength and knowing that we can conquer all.
Awesome.
So I would say if you want to get interested in politics, a good place to start, obviously, is signing up to be a poll worker because you get to see democracy on the front lines. You get to talk to a lot of people. You get to learn about administration, which election administration, as we all know, is very, very challenging. And it's also, it's short, so it's a good way to dip your toe in quickly. My other advice would be to sign up to be a legislative analyst or to have a position at the legislature. That's where you get to see where the laws are made and really how sometimes the sausage is made at the legislature, all the things that they can't tell you in the official side, but you learn kind of the ins and outs of the legislature. You meet a lot of people. And often that's a really good way of getting a job because then you'll hear from someone else, oh, I'm looking for someone in my office. I'm looking for in my county. And it's a really great way to sort of learn different people in the legislature, but also how the laws are made, and then meet people that can then be your network for getting a position within government. So I think it's a really great place. It's depending on a 30 or 60-day session, they're always looking for people. That would be my recommendation. But then, of course, you should always apply to your county or your local city because we're always, of course, looking for people who are trying to get their foot in the door. So
I think even temping with our office is a really good start and good advice. We have a lot of women in our office who started off as temporary employees, including myself, and we are now in full-time positions. And so just jumping in and seeing if this is what's right for you. And if you can handle the environment and this leadership role of crazy elections. But yeah, just temping in our office, legislative roles, like Catherine said, it's a good entryway.
Where can they sign up to be poll workers? Would that be off of your website?
Yep. So it's on our website. We take applications 365 days a year. We start reaching out to folks. We're actually having a special election start April 1st for the Espanola School District. So we actually have some poll workers that we're hiring to be absentee because it's a male-only election. We start with temps in the summertime as we start rolling into the fall election. And there are a lot of different temp jobs. So it's not just being at the polls, it's working as kind of administrative support staff. And that's a really good way of learning, how to use computers, how to work in teams. And, we're always looking for people who really enjoy the pace and want to do this it's kind of exciting. You got to be an adrenaline junkie to do elections. And that is not for everybody. And in our office, we really want people to, love what they do and feel and flourish under that kind of environment. And I think being a temp worker for the election is a really good way to dip your toe in.
I apologize if I missed something. Is there a difference between a temp worker and poll worker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can sign up to be a temp worker as well?
You can. So we have about 20 internal temps during an election season that help us out in the field or in the office doing all the miscellaneous tasks. And then the poll workers are actually stationed at the voting site. So there is a little bit of differentiation, and we have people who've been poll workers to temps and vice versa, people who are temps and now poll workers. So it's, really diverse, and you get to learn all the different aspects and components in elections. Just as a side note, more than half of our poll workers that runs the absentee board is women. And so I just think that that's a fun highlight to mention. Absolutely. We do have male leadership there, but a lot of women participation.
That's awesome. We have 1 minute before the 15-minute mark. Do you want to get Celeste in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Celeste, come and we don't bite. You're up.
Okay, Catherine.
Just like, whatever.
All right, let's do this. Let's get this done.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Celeste Garcia. I'm the operations manager for the clerk's office.
Wonderful. Well, we're happy to have you. What are some of the biggest challenges facing women in elections or in public service today from your perspective?
Okay, well, I am new to the clerk's office. It's going to be about a year since I've been here. So I'm learning a lot of things I didn't know before, but I believe we've grown a lot, right? Our elections, women's rights to vote,
right?
Things like that. So I feel working with Catherine and Rosangela and Jenny, I've been really empowered. All these projects that they want to move forward with, sometimes I'm like, Catherine, you want to do what? But it's really for the best for the county. I see her vision and her goals, and it really is amazing to see all the things that she has and to make these processes better, everything that she has vision. So
I think women still have to deal with stereotypes about leadership. We always have to walk that fine line of, when you're too aggressive, then you're aggressive, and then you can't be just assertive. And men do not get those kinds of criticisms. So women always have to walk the line of not being too hard, but also having to not be too soft. It's really hard when you are sometimes in a conversation, and it's just a bad habit that people have, but they'll turn to the man that's sitting next to you and ask about their opinion, even though you're the elected official. That's definitely been a challenge. And I think that women always more than, it's changing as I think, they have good partners and supportive partners and spouses. But I think that women are the ones who are the fallback person for a lot of family and home life, which means women need that flexibility to be able to leave the office to pick up a kid or if they have a sick child. Yeah. And so we do still see those challenges where women are managing the third shift. The third shift is that home. It's the cleaning, it's the cooking, it's managing the household. Right? They're the executive of their household. I think that is very challenging to balance for women in public service, especially since sometimes we have late hours or sometimes a BCC meeting goes till midnight, right?
Absolutely. Or having the flexibility or the privilege. I would even say it's a privilege to be able to have a good partner at home so you can be at late board meetings or attend hearings. I think it's absolutely, and I think it can be a deterrence in some people for running for office.
I totally agree. I would love to see the legislature as well as the county, at least during our meeting times, have childcare available so that people, because some of our constituents can't even come to speak publicly because they don't have childcare. So it's, correct. Or if we've seen is a lot of female lobbyists or people who are advocating at the legislature, when things start going late, they have to leave to take care of their children and they can't stay to do that public advocacy where they're standing to speak about bills. So I do think while women are gaining ground, there are still some structural things we could do to make it easier for women in particular to hold leadership positions and have equal voice. I would like to say that at the Clerk's affiliate this year has put forward a constitutional amendment to change the questions on the ballot for school elections. School boards can actually be during a general election. And that's left over from a time when women were not allowed to vote in general elections. They were considered only allowed to deal with children's issues and only could vote in school board elections. So over 100 years after women got the right to vote, we are still changing New Mexico's constitution to allow those questions from school board elections to go on the general election because of that leftover language that said that women could only vote in school board elections. So our constitution actually says that school questions cannot actually appear on the general election ballot because they did not want women voting on just the regular, they were not considered able to vote in regular elections. Yep.
Wow.
So that's our legislative goal this legislature.
That's great. Thank you for joining us. This is Beyond County Lines.
Beyond county lines, your community's flow. Santa Fe County updates, everybody wants to know.